The other day, my daughter got a new bicycle for Christmas. Now, prior to my daughter getting this new bicycle for Christmas, she had one of those balance bikes. And for those of you who don't know what a balance bike is a bicycle you get on. It doesn't have any pedals. It doesn't have any training wheels. You get on it and you literally do what it's called. It's called you balance on it. So my daughter, she had been riding this balance bike for about 2 years. Not only did she ride this balance bike on the regular street, she would also ride this balance bike on a bike park. The bike park that has the bowls and the ramps. She ride her balance bike over there, no problem. When she got this new bike, though, it had training wheels. She says, I really want the training wheels. We said, no, you don't need them, but she put them on anyways. And she started riding on the training wheels. And what would happen is she would ride her bike and she would lean like this. She would lean on one side of the training wheel. She'd lean to the left. The other day, I took her training wheels off and said, Soraya, you're better than this. You don't need these training wheels. These training wheels are becoming a crutch for you. Now, I will admit that her new bike is slightly bigger than the balance bike. Now, what is the point? The point is, when we took the training wheels off, she would lean to one side. She got so used to leaning on that training wheel. So what I did was I walked up to her bike and I grabbed it on the handlebars and I said, put your feet on the pedals. Don't try to drive. Just let me hold the bike. I got the bike. I got you. I looked her in the eye and I said, Soraya, if I'm holding this bike, are you going to fall? She said, no. I said, do not take your feet off the pedals. Do not take your feet off the pedals. I leaned the bike to the right. I let her feel what it felt like to lean. And I said, you see, I'm holding this bike. I'm not going to let you fall. I'm not going to let you fall. Then I leaned her to the other side and I said, I'm not going to let you fall. And when she started riding and started to pedal, I said, no matter what, don't take your feet off this pedal. My hand is on you. I'm not going to let you fall. She began to lean to the left as I began to loosen my grip slightly. And every time that would happen, she would take her feet off the pedal and stop the process. What is the point? The point is we do the same thing in life when it comes to our relationship with God. We get so used to leaning on other things. In this case, my daughter was so used to leaning on the training wheels. She built so much trust in leaning on the training wheels that when it was time to lean on her father, she didn't have enough trust in that. She had more trust in something that was ultimately going to break because, you see, the more she leaned on the training wheel, the more that training wheel got bent. She had more trust in leaning in something that was going to let her down and break, as opposed to trusting in the one that had his hand on him, had his hand on her and would not let her fall. We are the same way with God. We get so used to leaning on friends, leaning on family members, leaning on our own strength, leaning on a job, leaning on a president, leaning on an organization. These man-made carnal things that are ultimately going to break and let us down the more stress that is put on them. And then when it's time to trust in God, and when God has his hand on us, when that lean begins to come, we freak out and we stop the process. You see, the more that she would have trusted in me and obeyed my direction of not taking your feet off of the pedals, I will not let you fall. I will keep you. My hand will keep you. The more she would have trusted in that, the quicker she would have been able to ride without the training wheels. But because of her lack of trust in me, she has slowed down the process and her confidence has gone down when in fact it should be going up. And so I believe that we are the same way when it comes to our relationship with God. We get so used to leaning on everything else, everyone else, when really we should be leaning on the one that has designed us, created us, and has his hand on us. So I hope that's a blessing to somebody. I just had to get that uploaded. I ain't brushed my hair yet. I'm getting ready to go to church, but I'm going to get this combed out. But I see y'all on the next one. Hope this helps.